Hello, and today I chose to analyze this game because this is a game where I got to play the Alekhine defense with the what's it called, like Krejcik Variation, something like that. I can't pronounce it anyway. Uh, and you'll notice. Let's actually show you the thing first. So this is the position, and this is the Krejcik Variation, however you pronounce it. Knight takes. And bishop takes f7. The idea is takes. The king is forced to block. And once again, the king is more or less forced to block because if the king goes back to e7, king takes e4, and there is zero initiative, zero anything for black's side. Obviously, as you can see, d5 is an option, but then I move my queen back. It says queen e5 is interesting, and yes, I agree. But in this position, white's actually a little better, and not so much better that you'd notice, but it's a little better. And in this position, where you play the best move, e6, I still have queen takes e4, but as you'll see, it's a little less better for white. It's not better at all, actually. Bishop g7 was the right move, allowing for self-castling. But they say queen f4 is the move here, and I thought about, oh wow. I thought about queen f4, but I thought it was just helping the king, like get to safety. So I didn't want to do it, but as you could have guessed, I played a worse move. Instead, I played knight to f3, which isn't bad, but this move is horrible because I'm blundering my knight, and now I'm forced to trade queens, which I wanted to trade queens in this position because there is really nothing else. If the king were to, say, go there, it's still, I can't do anything. I'm still paralyzed. I can't move this pawn because then they take the bishop, I move there, they take the rook, and I've lost. And apparently in this position, there's maiden one. It's this, not that. It looked like that. I took a guess. Oh, but there's also this fork and so much mess. Anyway, yeah, so there's a lot of problems, so I kind of wanted to trade queens. I thought it was going to be the best outcome for me. And I do this because obviously they're aiming for that fork. And I play, actually, yeah, so I play rook to e1. And the idea, just take space, take up the e file. And I did see this move, and thankfully I calculated far enough to get here, where they don't have the fork that they played anyway, because then I actually win material, and now it's equal. They just have more space, which is why the evaluation's so high. So I should have moved back to b2, because if I move back to b2, even in this position, I'm still significantly safer. It's not perfect. It actually says bishop e5 is a little bit better, which I guess is because it's attacking a weak pawn, so then they're going to play c5, but c5 isn't really something I wanted to provoke. Because now they're taking up a lot of space, and a 4-on-3 with doubled pawns on the a file isn't good. So what happened was I played g3, the intent of getting my king out, and I moved back to b2. As you'll see, my king, he starts making a run for it. We start traveling around the board, and here they want me to play f3, just playing a waiting move, really. They also like a4, which I guess a4 isn't bad, but let's see. In this variation, they want me to play a5, takes, and it says I'm not even that much worse, and in this situation, it's very likely they just take. But because that's like the very human move. But if not takes, king f6, and then this isn't a good time for me necessarily. I'm still losing horribly. But we didn't get that variation. Instead, they play h6, and I just move my king into the cubbyhole. And now my king is chilling. And here I actually missed the check, but they want me to play h4. h4 is idea, obviously. G takes h4, I take, and there's no more check. But king f6 is very possible, which could pose problems, and is actually still very losing. I didn't play that. I played check, and they blocked with check, which is a huge mistake. I honestly, with the gambit being as bad for me as it was, by the way, in this position I missed takes. Not that. That's horrible. I missed takes, uh, takes with check, and this is actually already a draw. Even though they have that passed pawn on the H file, and technically this passed pawn on the B file, because like, let's look at the position just to illustrate. Takes, king goes there, rook goes, it says bishop c5 is actually the best move. Oh, nice, because the king can't take in that position. King g7, and then I would take the pawn. They say a5, I can't take that pawn, so bishop a3 is the best move. And this is a draw, surprisingly. Obviously, opposite colored bishop endgames are a draw, but I played d3 just to stop any ideas of, like, you know, d3 in the future from that. So I played d3, takes, and now I'm aiming at this weak pawn, so takes, and this is actually where things equalize. This was going to be a drawed position if I had played rook d7. Rook d7 permits 0 protection on the pawn other than this. Actually, it's pinned, so not even that move. I'm a little delusional. And this isn't better for me. I guess it's not even drawed. But it's better than what I played, which was this. And it allowed king g6, which is a bit of a threat because then it basically is saying, I'm going to start pushing this pawn. I'm going to attack this pawn and then check you, and you're in trouble. And I didn't want to deal with any of that, but as you'll see, I didn't have to because I lost. So rook takes a7 actually sets this up for a draw, and I missed a very obvious game-winning move, or game-drawing move, this. Because after I play this, it's a blunder because of that, apparently. But they do this, and then it says bishop takes h6. That's the more accurate move. And now they can't push this pawn. Rook b6 happens to hit my bishop. Bishop stays on this diagonal, and it's a draw. But obviously I don't play perfectly, and here it's a drawed position again if I play this move. King e8, take, and it's drawed. There really is no way to sufficiently protect this pawn after I play something like rook a2, which is why they would play rook b2, but then it says bishop g5, hitting the rook. Is horrible. That's not bishop g5, I'm sorry. Bishop g5, a waiting move. And rook takes f2. Rook c7, hitting their bishop. And then d2, giving away both bishops. And with only 2 rooks on the board, this is a draw as well. So I've been learning a lot from endgames videos, and I blundered my rook, but thankfully they missed it, but I still gave away my bishop. I felt like it was fine. I feel like giving away my bishop was not horrible. And here there's mate in 1. Oh, wow. There's that too, I guess. But here there's mate in 1. And in this position, there's mate in 3. Oh, wait, I have to move, and then it's that. Sorry, I'm a little one-track mind here. And now it's a complete draw because you can't checkmate with a bishop and a king, and the only chance was me with my pawn, but obviously that pawn is going nowhere because the king is in its way. So that's my analysis of this game. Let's go back to the gambit. I found it really interesting. This is forcing pawns to move, and I actually looked at this and I remembered it's kind of like the Hikaru game where you'll see in a few moves here he plays knight to c4, which isn't a good move, but the reason that it's good for him is because he's a super grandmaster, but also it provokes b3. he moves back and it provokes h4, h5, and then he moves to this square. Now, he's holding a lot of space. Obviously, this is a lot less good because of the fact that, like, when you take a look at this board, the pawns aren't that far out, and pawns obviously can't move backwards, but by only moving up one space, why would they really need to? So, there's that. This was a fun gambit to play. If I was gonna move my knight, I should have done this, which still isn't good, keep in mind. Still not great. But it's better because I didn't blunder a knight in this variation. Anyway, that's the analysis. Bye.